Div je ken Doric va? Div je? Or div je ken Doric atala? Almost sounds like I'm speaking a whole other language. Really, I am. Doric is a Scottish dialect, which is almost a language by itself. So I'm asking you, do you know Doric at all? If you tuned into the last video, the last Doric video, you will have heard a little bit of Doric. Also, if you tuned into the last video, you will have heard me say that an oxter is a shoulder blade when an oxter is actually an armpit. So thank you to the fellow Doric speaker that pointed that out to me. So when I'm asking, div je ken Doric ata or div je ken Doric ava, I'm asking, do you know Doric at all? So ata or ava means at all. So if you did tune into the last one, then I have a little pop quiz for you at the end if you don't fall asleep before then. But today I have a few new things for you to learn first. First of all, I'm going to ask you a question, and that question will give you a hint as to what you'll be learning, or just listening to if it's near bedtime and you want to just go to sleep and imagine that you're in Scotland, bonnie Scotland. So my question to you is, far div you bide? Far div you bide? Faraboots. Faraboots div you bide? Faraboots, 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 faraboots. So if you break it down, far does not mean far distance, but it does mean something similar. Far is where. Aboots, if you've got far is where, aboots should be more easily identified. So where about. Div is also an insult, but in this instance it is do. Whereabouts do. Yeah, you. Bide. No, it's not about biding your time or anything like that. It's live. So whereabouts do you live? Faraboots div you bide? Faraboots. Or you've got far div you bide, just drop the aboots. But another one is far you aboots are you fee? Faraboots are you fee? Faraboots are you fee? Faraboots are you fee? So whereabouts are you from? Fee is usually from. So from my question, can you guess what I'm going to talk about today? Place names. So Scotland has quite a few interesting place names. Not in the way that maybe Australia has some interesting place names, or, I'm sure you've heard about all the strange place names from around the world. I know I have. I can't help myself. But in Scotland we have ones that are difficult for, well, some Scottish people can't say them, but definitely difficult for non-Scots to pronounce. But then we have place and town names that are not the names that we would call them because they've got different names. So, first of all, we've got Aberdeen. Aberdeen. It's Aberdeen. Or if you know the place in America, when I first heard an American say the name Aberdeen, I was very surprised because they really put the enunciation on the A, so it's Aberdeen. Whereas we don't put enunciation on the A, because we say Aberdeen or Aberdeen, but not Aberdeen. So Aberdeen, Dean comes from, well, the two rivers that are in Aberdeen, which are the Dee and the Don. So they performed a wee mashup of those two to make the name. And I've forgotten exactly what Aber means. It's definitely something to do with it being about water. So, for the next place name, definitely more difficult because it's nothing like the place name, but it is called Ibroch. Ibroch, or the Broch if you're a bit more fancy. So, the Broch, Ibroch. Broch. Actually, a town called Fraserburgh. The Broch actually stems from the Old Scots word for fort. Another one is the Blue Toon. The Blue Toon. First word is easily enough. Blue. And Toon is town. We don't really like to say ow in Doric. So a cow is a coo. And a mouth, as you'll know from the last video, is a moo. So we don't really like to say ow. So the Blue Toon is the blue town, which is Peterhead, which is Peterhead. Now, I looked up why it's called the Blue Toon, and I figured it was because it's cold and people turn blue in the cold, or their lips do, or, well, if it's cold enough, they will turn blue. So that is why I thought it was called the Blue Toon. But actually, I looked it up, and it is because in the olden days, because it is a fishing town, the fishermen, which made up the majority of the population, I believe, at the time, they all wore these blue clothing so that you would be able to identify them. So it was called the Blue Toon for the clothing that the fishermen wear, which I found interesting and surprising. The next one is Fogilone. Fogilone. again, it's a name that sounds nothing like the town name, Fogilone, is actually a town called Aberchirder. So we're people that pronounce the CHs mostly, not as cha, but as h, like, or ka actually. A lot of people, instead of saying loch, will say lock. But the CH in Aberchirder is just an H, just to confuse you. Fogilone is actually Old Scots for peaty meadows. So when people founded Aberchirder hundreds of years ago, I guess it was just peaty meadows. And here's another one, not one with a nickname, but when it's on the screen, as you read it, you might wonder just how to say it. It's a difficult one for people who have not been raised in the area. My sister, who is also Scottish, but was raised further south than me, she couldn't say it properly, so it was very amusing. It's Achnagat. Achnagat. I enjoy saying that one. We have a lot of achs in Scotland. We have Aberchirder, Achnagat, Auchenblay, although that's actually Auchenblay. Spelt the same way. Strange. So we've got another couple here that are similar to their place names. So we've got Tara, which is Torif. So similar. We've got Giri, which is the pronunciation for the spelling on the screen. Giri. That's how you say it. I've heard it a lot of different ways, but you pronounce it Giri. Garioch. And then we've got the Falls of Fioch. I love saying it that way because you sound like you're absolutely disgusted. Fioch. So the Falls of Fioch. It's the Falls of Few. It is a waterfall on the way from Aberdeen to our next one, which is Bunkry. Which is Bankery, which I've also heard say Banchory. If we were to try and say it in the way that Scots like to say our CHs, it'd be Banchry. Banchry. And then on the way to the Blue Toon, we've got Maud. So not mad, Maud, which is Maud. And then our last one, although I am certain that there are more fun nicknames for fun places, is Mungiri. If you remember, I said before that we don't really say our T's in the middle of a sentence. She says saying the T in the middle of the word sentence. So Montgiri is Montgari. Montgari. Which sounds very strange to say in regular way. So it's Montgiri or Montgari. So that is our place names. For now, I have a few phrases to share with you. The first one, you would ask me if you didn't understand me, which you possibly don't during a few parts of this video. So the first part is fit you spickin' about. Fit you spickin' about. So fit is what? Because we never say our WHs. Because for far, for where is far. Far divided. For how, it's fu. So for what, it's fit. So fit, you, what, you, spickin' about. About, should remember from earlier, is about. So fit, you, spickin' about. What are you talking about? Spickin', being speaking or talking. So fit you spickin' about. Another one is a favourite of my nana's, which is, I was black affrontit. Black affrontit. So affronted is kind of an old word, I'd say now. It means embarrassed. So when you're black affronted, you are massively embarrassed. So before we go, I'd like to do a little pop quiz on what we spoke about last time. So if I were to approach you and say, fit like a day, I'm asking you, how are you? And you'd say, typically, nae bad yoursel. And if I were to ask you something similar, fuidian, you'd say chavanawa. So fuidian and fit like a day both pretty much mean how are you? Nae bad yoursel is you asking, are you telling me that you're doing okay and asking how I am? And if you tell me you're chavanawa, it just means you're working away. You know, same old, same old. Or if I were to ask you if you're a quine or if you're a loon, a quine or a loon, which one would you say? Are you a quine or are you a loon? Remember, loon doesn't mean what it used to mean. With the moon madness, which is why a loon is called a loon, is to do with the moon. So if I were to ask you quine or loon, you would tell me you are a. And I'd tell you, I am a quine. Or really a wifey. Which is different to American wifey. A wifey typically means an older woman, but usually means just women. But for me, I'd say older women, and just mani for a male adult, really. So loons and quines are more children and young adults, and manis and wifeys are adults, really. And now we have body parts. So the next one you should remember, because I said it at the beginning, oxter. Fits your oxter. Point to your oxter. You should be doing a pretty good monkey impression about now. Your oxter is your armpit. Fit about your dog. Where's your dog? But if it was speaking about your dog, it would be probably quite weird, because your dog is your bottom, your butt. Now I'm gonna go further down your body to your fit. So fit is your fit. Two different meanings, same word. Fit is your fit. So the first word is actually what. So what is your fit? Or far is your fit. Fit's your fit. It's your foot. Now I'm going to move up to your heed. So fit's your heed. It's on top of your shoulders. So your heed is on top of your shoulders. Your head is on top of your shoulders. Shoulders. So on your heed, you've got Twa Lugs. Twa meaning two. Not like French, which is trois, which means three, which confused me when I was younger. Twa in Doric is two. Trois en français is three. So on your head, you've got Twa Lugs. So fit is a lug. It's your ear. Your lugs are your ears. Next in, you've got Twa Vana. So you've got Twa in. And I think that the singular is just E. But no one really speaks about a single in. Or they might, but I haven't really come across it. So your in are your eyes. So what else have we got on your head? You've got, well, actually, I was just thinking there's not really one for nose. Some people do call it a beak, though. I think that's more Aberdeen, where they say your beak, which is your nose. But I think that's more widespread too. So the last in on your head, or on your face, is your moo. I said this one earlier too. So your moo is your mouth. So how many of those did you get right? Did you remember them? Did you guess them? I was just having a look and found another word that apparently we use a lot in Doric for a nose, which is neb. Your nose is your neb, neb, neb. I have to admit I haven't heard that one often, but neb. Another word for a body part that I didn't do last time is your arum, arum, arum. So it's your arm. But apparently we like to make that a 2-syllable word. I like it. Definitely sounds like another language. At the end of your arums, you've got your hans. Your hans. Don't really pronounce the D. And instead of han, you say hon. Hans. It's your hans. Your hands. And on your hands you've got fingers. 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 So that's what I have for you today. A bunch of town names. A few sayings for you. So if anybody asks you, Farabout's your fay or Farabout de Vibite, you answer with the place name. Where are you from or where do you live? Farabout's your fay, Farabout's de Vibite. And if you don't understand what someone's saying, you can just say, what are you speaking about? Or if someone doesn't understand what you're saying and they ask you, what are you speaking about? You can tell them what you were speaking about. If you're mid-conversation and someone approaches you and asks, what are you speaking about? You will know they're asking what you're talking about, and you're just to catch them up on the conversation. And you'll know if someone tells you they're black affrontit, you should tell them not to be embarrassed. So that's all I have for you today. And I hope you enjoy. There was quite a bit of positive feedback on the last one, so I'm quite happy that people did enjoy. So thank you very much for watching or listening, and if you would like another part, let me know down below. If you have any other place names that I haven't said, or some words, I hope that you enjoyed what you heard today, and I hope you learned something or that you enjoyed the video / recording, and I'll see you on the next one.